So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector. And tonight, from the band Nightshade, I have Thomas. They're a band that has been around since the late 90s. And what they did recently is like they remastered their EP from 2003 called Wired. And now it's called Wired 2025. So, Thomas, how are you tonight over there
Hi,
in Switzerland,
hi, good
right?
evening. Yeah, I'm calling from Switzerland. Hi, good evening. Thanks for having us tonight. Feeling great, thank you. Really excited to be on the show today.
Awesome. So, listening to your music, you guys were pretty ahead of your time with the type of music that you were doing because I can hear a lot of bands that are inspired by what you do because you have like heavy metal, like riffing, but also a lot of synth and electronic stuff to your sound. So first of all, tell me about like when did you decide to do a remastered version of Wired?
Yeah, so this album that you're mentioning, and so thanks for saying that it was ahead of its time. I would kind of agree. It's certainly very different from what we used to hear back in the days, and so it was released back in 2003. And back then there was no internet. I mean, internet was there, but there was no streaming platforms. Like Napster was
Yeah.
starting to be something, and so that used to be the way of sharing files, and so it never really came out, and so we had just a limited print of CDs, a few hundred, and they're all gone today. And so, kind of in the course of last year, we said like, "Hey, it's a great record. It never saw the light of the day, really, and people today they can't listen to it. So we said, why not remastering it? Technology has gone a long way in the last 20 something years, and so we thought it was a good way to kind of revitalize a little bit the back catalog of the band.
How was it for you, like working on these songs, like 22 plus years later?
Yeah, look, it was amazing because we we changed a lot, like as people, as individuals, and as musicians, of course. And so, I mean, we can talk about the process of remastering because it was not just a classical remaster where you just boost the volume and the loudness, right? It was a remastering where we kind of reworked the individual tracks. And I was listening to this, I was like, I would never do the same again today, right? I would do it completely different. And so we've changed a lot as individuals, as musicians. And so it was an experience of rediscovering kind of who we were 20 years ago as artists, and kind of also acknowledging, like that a bit of time has passed since that album.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was reading that you did. I think you left some of the original song, but you reworked the drum machine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So let's rewind back in 2003 when this was recorded. Like this was recorded on a tape machine, right? So we had like a 16 track tape machine. Like digital was not so popular among the entry studio type of mid-range studios that we were going to. And so this was recorded on tape. Um, and the thing is that, you record one during a couple of days and then you mix, and that's it, it's like today you have this ability to go back and edit and improve. And after you've played it, you can still keep improving it. That was much more kind of live playing, and so very spontaneous way of playing. So it's very different from how we've done it today. And so, yeah, it's a huge difference compared to making a record these days.
Yeah, no, it's a totally different time, and yeah, I was around at that time. Also, I remember the '90s and music sounded different, but uh, like there's a song on this that kind of remind me like a Rammstein song,
What? Sorry?
a Rammstein song.
Yeah, yeah, all possible. Yeah, definitely. We were huge. fans of Rammstein. I mean, th this was a culture shock for us, right? Just like with everyone else. So these bands had this band in particular had also like had a huge influence on us from the very early days. Samael was another influence. We've never really shied away from that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but you were contemporaries, almost came out at the same time period. So yeah, it was but you were doing like stuff with synthwave that I think now more modern bands do in a way, but back then it was totally something different at that time. So you have a few videos that you put out. You put out a lyric video for Glass. Why did you pick that one for the lyric video?
Yeah, so that's the first video coming out, right? So we have other videos that are coming from the from live performances of the album actually that we recorded in the studio and in the studio of the Swiss Television. But we picked Glass because it's I think it's a bit of like a progressive song, you know. So there's like a chorus and stuff, but then there's a long interlude in the middle, and there's like the solo towards the end. And I think it's quite rich when you listen to it. You know, there's a lot of things happening, and so I always loved this song because of that, because it's a song that has that is telling you quite a bit of a story, I think, and compared to other songs on this album that are much more direct and have a more traditional structure. This song stretches, I think, a bit over 5 minutes and takes you a bit on a journey. And I think also the storytelling behind this song is super interesting. And actually, I think the storytelling in particular also gave the ideas to the visuals, and I thought that those visuals would be really interesting for a video. And so roughly it's a person that talks with its other self, you know, and has like all these thoughts about struggling with this other self, and eventually this other self takes over, and so these lyrics talk about that. It's a very deep type of and personal lyrics, and so I thought that making associating images with that would be an interesting thing to do on a video. Yeah, we have also other videos that we're preparing, but as I said, they were shot live in the at the Swiss television, so they're also being released these days.
Yeah, I think one is the inside of you one out because I know you had a
Yeah,
yeah that's one that's out and that was like a
yeah,
2003 performance that you had on TV.
yeah. It was I mean it was more than 20 years ago. I don't fully remember all this gig, frankly speaking. I remember parts of it, like we had like very little time for the sound check. There was lots of cameras everywhere. You can see it is like it's a pro shoot with like 4 or 5 cameras. It's a pretty cool video, actually.
Yeah, no, but it's awesome to put things, and I think a lot of like younger generations are really appreciating like music from other like times more now than I don't know. I think they are. You know, I see younger people getting into bands and even old,
Yeah.
so which is a good thing. So, but currently, Thomas, you are working on new music at the moment, right?
Working on?
Are you working on newer music? Like you're working on a
Yeah, yeah, we're
oh,
working on the music definitely. So I'll tell you about that. I wanted to say I love what you said about the that people are coming back to older music. I think it's true because I can hear, like, you know, I have a kid. He's into AC/DC. He's 12. He likes all the rock music, and it's like, and I think, you know, it just sounds more authentic in many ways. And so there's tons of excellent music released today, but I think it's always great to come back to some classics and not to denigrate what's happening today, because again, there's tons of amazing artists. But I think sometimes if you connect with the roots, there's a pretty cool thing you can do. And so at the moment, we're finishing a new record. It's actually mixed at right now at the time of making this interview, and so yeah, it's a full-length album that we have recorded and produced. Stay tuned. We're in the process of preparing this release. It's gonna come out probably later this year, but we'll be sharing a bit more news. And so, speaking about coming back to the classics, there's a lot of that in the new record. Like we've come back to the roots of some of the metal genres that we know today. And so it's a very modern production, but at the same time, it's like looking a little bit also to kind of the fathers of the style, if you want, and it takes us back a little bit on a journey. So there is that duality definitely in the new material we've been working on.
Awesome. And question: what does your son think of your band?
Look, he loves it. He loves it, and so that's obviously he has no other choice, you know. He can only like the music, so so we're in agreement about that.
Good thing, yeah. And probably, like it's cool now that he's 12, so he can appreciate it more. I have kids, but they're still young. They're still 5 and 7, so they're
Uh-huh.
still. I'm easing into them some of the music that I like to see if like they can appreciate it as well. Uh, so the remastered version, it's already out. If people wanna like buy it physically, what formats do you have?
Yeah. So it streams everywhere, of course. So you can stream on all your favorite platforms, and we have also a vinyl edition, which is a very limited edition. We haven't done a lot of the copies, and so there's still a few left. The vinyl is yeah, we just wanted to have a vinyl because it never came out on this format. We love vinyls, and so it's available on Bandcamp, on our Bandcamp page. So those are the two formats for this record.
Yeah, and here's the the artwork for the like Wired remaster. Did you change anything in the artwork at all?
So the picture is the actual picture from the original record. It's actually a flower. It's pretty awesome because it looks like a pentagram, right? So it's actually a flower that has the shape of a pentagram. And so that's the original image, but we um, we revisited the logo. So the logo you see on this edition is back to our original logo, which we started the band when we started the band in '98. We've added a few more spikes into the logo, so it's a bit more spiky from that perspective. And yeah, and the font basically is different. So the original print has a smaller font for the Wired, and this is like the a new font. So you can still see very clearly that it's the original. I mean, it's kind of true to the original style, but has a few enhancements. And then we also added the frame. So yeah, the idea was to keep true to the original version, but add a few enhancements that reflect a little bit this new energy around the remastered version.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And like looking at this, like this remastered version right now, and having these songs that and had with you for so long. Right now, is there one that for you that really which of these songs basically has held the best for you? Like one that you can listen to, like yeah, this song like it's still my favorite, even though it's like 22 years after.
Yeah. No, I very much like Glass. Like it's a song I can get back to quite a lot. I like a lot Inside of You. Inside of You is a song that um, is actually extremely simple. Like it's only two riffs in this song, but they are played on different chords, right? And so it's played overall in over three octaves. So it starts really low on B. Then a part of it is an E, and then an E again in an octave. And so there's variations of this riff all the time, and it has that very particular uh, kind of kind of bombastic drum machine rhythm on it, which is not how a drummer would usually play it, but it gives it this kind of heavy, kind of marching type of beat that that is kind of like almost like a signature beat if you want. And so I like it quite a lot. And so it's a song I can get back to quite often. Actually, it's pretty cool, and it's also cool to play live. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder because I don't know, like maybe some I know there's artists that look at some of their material and some love their old material and but some I say they don't like the old material. And with fans sometimes on some other bands, they love the old material, they hate the new stuff. So sometimes it's hard to like like please
yeah.
everyone. But it seems that you obviously you rework them, so you're proud of having this. Plus, there's a lot of people that probably didn't hear this.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're exactly right. I think, we don't want to say, oh, let's stick to one way of playing. Like we have our formula and we just stick to that. I think the truth is that we change a lot, as I told you before, as individuals, as musicians, and you don't want to record the same song all the time. And so partially you go and you try to reinvent kind of, the music you play. It's still you because it's still your songwriting, but you would play it a little different. You would revisit stuff. And so one idea is to revisit old songs, which is what we've done with the remaster. And we're also like we're gonna put out a new record pretty soon, and so it's also another evolution of the band, right? It's gonna be original material. So, um, there are people who follow this. There are people who kind of disconnect. They would prefer maybe the older stuff. Some prefer the new material and they just can't listen to the old stuff. I mean, it's like there are some people who say that Maiden hasn't released anything after Power Slave, and other people who would love the new albums, right? And so that's okay. And there are just opinions. And whether you like it or not, we're still going to do it, right?
Yeah, you can never please everyone.
No, no.
People that's going to listen to. I think the best audience, if you think about it, would be that younger generation because they're not attached to the music because they didn't grow up with it. So
Yeah,
I think that's a way like
yeah,
to look at it more objectively because sometimes with us, like for your example, you said Maiden. We grow up listening to Maiden, so we're gonna have like a nostalgia factor, maybe of like listening to some people
yeah.
that are gonna think that Maiden stopped being Maiden once Paul Diano left the band. So you never know. Like it's you can never please everyone, but I think like younger generations that are listening to they're like they don't care. They can listen to and because they're not attached to that because
Exactly, exactly. And that's also, how I also more recently started to discover a lot of music from the 70s, right? I wasn't around in the 70s, and even if I was, I would be probably too young to appreciate any of this music. So I'm kind of re in the last couple of years, I've rediscovered a lot of music from the 70s, kind of from scratch, And so yeah, you have no experience with it, and like you build the experience of listening to this music kind of today as an adult or as a young adult. And so, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
it's a good way to look at it because you're always going to be more attached to like maybe to the music that when you started like getting
Yeah.
into like for
And
the
and there's
90s.
also something with the older records, that we don't have today, is that they have a more diverse sound and production. Uh, Productions today tend to be a little bit more homogeneous in a sense that there's excellent studio equipment available to everyone today. And so it's kind of the quality of these production is very high, but is also a bit more homogeneous. In the past, you had productions that were very, very different from each other. And the more you go in the past, the more you hear differences between the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even within the 90s, you have like completely different productions. Today is a bit more categorized in a particular style that didn't exist before. And so you also discover new sounds, I think, and that's super important because the music is not just the songwriting, it's also a lot of it is also the production and some of the older records, they have that unique energy that you don't capture today with all the electronics we have in studios.
Also where they recorded it that was
Mhm.
important.
Yeah,
uh
yeah,
you like, where you recorded the record. Because now, right now, with the technology, people are doing records in their room. Like in the, it's not like in the past. So it's different. But I think like I get you like I get what you say, like the different recording styles that now it's like more modern, but like maybe everything sounds like sometimes like it can be similar in that way. So yeah, so once you obviously you're recording new material, you're gonna put it sometime this year. Are you guys going to do shows? What other plans does Nightshade have?
Yeah, and I mean the plans for the remainder of the year will are primarily going to be around preparing the release for the new album. We're gonna be also hopefully preparing some videos to support the release. We don't have shows planned for the time being. Um, Primarily due to logistical reasons. And so yeah, this year is primarily like we're busy this part of the year around Wired, but the rest of the year is going to be spent on the new album, a couple of videos and a couple of exciting things surrounding the album, the new album. And so can't say too much about that, of course, but we're working a lot on it.
Yeah, no. So yeah, it totally makes sense. So Couchers, Nightshade, Wired 2025 remaster is out now. Post the link to the Bandcamp for people who would want to get a physical copy. Uh, and how many variants to do? Like, is there like one color variant or a different color, different variants for the record?
No, it's just one color. It's a traditional black vinyl.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
because sometimes, right, some bands go crazy. They throw like seven different variants. I'm like, wow, that's a a lot of things. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah. So Thomas, it's been awesome chatting with you from Switzerland to Puerto Rico. So before I let you go, anything that you like to say to the fans before we go?
Yeah, look, we really appreciate to be on your show again. I was looking at your channel before. I really loved the amount of content you have, and so thank you really for following us and supporting. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today, and yeah, please connect with us via social media. Connect with us on our YouTube channel also. And would love to hear from you if you've heard the album, if you want to listen to it. Yeah, just drop us a line. We'll be happy to connect with you personally. So yeah, looking forward to engage more. And thanks again for having us today.
Awesome. So, Couchers, Nightshade, if you like some synthwave experimental metal, listen to the EP. And they also have an album that they had on 2021 as well. So you can listen to that as well. And new music coming soon this year. So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.